In this video, we're going to take a quick look at the new Master Assistant here in Ozone 8. All right, so right now Ozone 8 doesn't have anything on it at all. We're going to close that down. Right now we have some vocalies from Heaviosity. We have action strikes going on. Pad sounds are from vocalies as well. So first we'll just hear a little bit of this here. Now go forward to this area here. It gets a little more intense. Alright, so we kind of get an idea there. It's sort of a cinematic track here. So let's go ahead and pop open Ozone 8 and let's try Master Assistant on it. Now, first we could, of course, go through and choose a preset, which why not? We'll just do a little bit of this real quick here. Let's just choose some things here. And of course, for every preset that we choose, it's going to have different modules. And of course, we can come in here and adjust them, however we want. Another cool feature of Ozone 8, which we're not going to really get into the features here. We're going to focus on Master Assistant. But of course, we can have this gain match option right here. So whenever we bypass Ozone 8, we'll have the same effective volume, which is pretty cool. So if I bypass this right now, and just go back a couple of bars there and play. All right, that's bypassed. You can see the difference in the overall level there. So if we have gain match on, whenever I bypass this, whenever we bypass Ozone 8, we'll have the same effective volume, so we can really hear what's going on. This is very important before we get to the Master Assistant here. Go back a couple more bars there. So go ahead and bypass it. So now it's bypassed. We still have the same effective volume. So of course, with that gain match on, it's just giving us that same effective, gain or effective volume. But whenever we bypass, it's bypassing, the equalizer, dynamics, exciter, imager, so we can really hear what's going on without getting tricked. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So we'll go ahead and move on here to our Master Assistant. Let's go back to the beginning of this track here, and we'll use Master Assistant. First, we'll play a little bit again, just to get an idea. All right, so it already sounds pretty good. Let's go ahead and use Master Assistant. Now, to use it, you just click the button there, and what are we going for? We can do streaming, CD, or reference of what our target medium is. So if we're going online, we'll choose streaming. If you're going to a CD, obviously choose CD. You can also use a reference, but you have to load a reference first. We're just going to keep this simple and just a real quick video. So we'll just say streaming, because this will, of course, be going online in a YouTube video. Then the next thing we'll do is hit next. Now it's going to wait for me to play audio, but Master Assistant needs at least 30 seconds of audio, and it really wants sort of the loudest part of your audio before we start using this. Now, if you have less than 30 seconds, you'd probably want to go ahead and just loop playback. But what we're going to do is, since we have at least 30 seconds here, I want to make sure I get the loudest part of the audio. Let's go back to about 8. I think that'll be enough time there. So let's go ahead and check out Master Assistant here. Go back through Master Assistant here. We'll do streaming. Go to next, and we'll just start playback here in Pro Tools. Now our assistant is working. You see it's analyzing audio. Let me just cancel that. One thing to be aware of is that you will probably hear some differences in the level while this is playing back. Now we can leave our preset loaded, but just to really show the difference that you're going to hear. I'll go and turn it off. Gain match is off. So we have nothing in here right now. We'll go back to Master Assist again, and we'll do this again. Now you're going to hear some jumps in level, so don't have this turned up too loud, okay? Hit next. Let's go ahead and play back. So now you're going to start really hearing Ozone applying these changes. Now I can go ahead and stop playback there, and what you're hearing right now is the sort of, I'm doing quotes here, sort of preset that they have applied. Now Master Assistant uses machine learning technology. It uses all kind of a technology that Ozone, of course, that Izotope had to research, and they sort of narrowed it down to a certain number of genres. I believe they chose 10 different basic curves that almost everything follows. So that's really what it's checking, and it's sort of trying to match the same curve of what it detects. And it's matching that curve to professionally produced, music that is out there. So we can accept this or cancel. If we can always cancel, and we can always try again if we want. Let me go forward a few frames here, or a few bars. I'm go back and forth between video and audio. So sometimes I say bars instead of frames, or frames instead of bars. Let's do it again. Master Assistant. We'll do streaming again. Next, let's go ahead and play back. So let's say we like this. We'll go ahead and click accept, and then you can see how it's laid out here. Now, one thing you'll notice is, there's all of our modules aren't going to be used whenever we use Master Assistant. Master Assistant is made, it's there to sort of set up a good working preset, a unique curve and preset for your music. So, don't expect to see things like the vintage EQ or your exciter or your imager in there. It's going to have the same basic sort of layout whenever you use Master Assistant. But that, of course, doesn't mean we can't add other modules that we want. We can go in here and check out what it did to our audio there. You can see we're sort of have a low shelf here, pulling out some of that low end, peaking up a little bit here, pulling up some of the high end. Here's our dynamic EQ, and then our maximizer. Of course, we can change this threshold whenever we want. And we can also, of course, change things around here. If I play back, maybe I want some more of that low end there. It also bypassed our dynamic control. You can turn that on and off however you want, but Izotope felt it didn't need it because there weren't extreme changes in levels. But of course, we can do whatever we want here. Just a little bit of compression. I'm just putting a little bit of compression on that low end there, just to tame it a little bit. And then next, it didn't add a width control, an imager. So let's just add that imager. I'm going to, of course, pull that before my maximizer. And maybe I want to widen the overall spectrum. So let's go and do that. Let me go forward a few bars. Compressor's hitting a little too much. I'm hearing it jump around a bit. I don't want to compress too much here. And adjust our dynamic EQ. Our dynamic EQ is really cool. You can watch it jump around here. bypass it. So now I'll turn gain match on. We'll go back to the beginning. So that way, whenever I bypass, we can really hear the difference that this made. So bypass it. Of course, we have our gain matched. Now it's back on. You can really hear the difference that's making. Bypassed again. I really want to hear this part right up here as my screen catches up. Just wait. There we go. Let's check out this part here. Right? Now I'll bypass it. Now listen to it without these modules affecting it. Listen to the drums. Right? Now let's bring it back on. Everything's just more together. Very cool. So that's just a real quick look at our Master Assistant in a way to really get your own unique curve that again is matched up to Izotope's research, machine learning, intelligence, so on and so forth, to professionally produced music out there, but you're still getting that unique curve for your own audio. And of course, like I said, you can always go in here and add whatever you want into your Master Assistant preset, whatever it spits out for you there. So don't think you have to just be stuck with what it gives you, which will be an equalizer, dynamics, dynamic EQ, and your maximizer. You can, of course, always put in your imager, a post EQ, maybe you want a vintage limiter, maybe you want to change some of these things out. You can absolutely do that here, but it's as you saw, it's a really easy process. Just clicking that Master Assistant, choosing your target, hitting next, and playing back your audio. And we'll, of course, do all that work. Let me go and cancel this. It will, of course, do all of that for you and set up your unique curve. Okay, here we are with one more quick example. I'll just play back here. Okay, so we have a more death metal track here. Let's try Master Assistant on this. But I know I'll probably want to maybe loop this. Maybe there. So just so we have the loudest part. Open up Ozone 8 here again. We already have it applied on our track, but there's nothing in here that's having any effect. We could try to find something in here that might work. All right, that one there absolutely does not work. Makes those guitars way, as you can see in the equalizer, it makes those way too present in the mix. So let's see what Master Assistant does. Let's go ahead and try this out. Master Assistant, we'll go streaming, go and hit next. Much better already. right, let's go ahead and accept that. And again, you see equalizer dynamics. It ended up bypassing our dynamics. That's okay. Dynamic EQ. You can see this is set up completely different from the other setup that we had, especially here, you know, in our low end and in the mids. You know, it could already tell those guitars are already present enough because I have them pulled up pretty high. They're way up here somewhere. I already have them pulled up pretty high, and we're using. I think I'm using Neutron on there, on those. But as you can see, the difference it made. Let's go ahead and bypass here. So not a huge difference there. Actually, I probably would come in here and probably use some dynamics in here, the low band. Probably put another band or so in here, but we'll just forget that for now. I just wanted to show you that, of course, this works on other styles of music, of course, as well. All right, so to close out, we're back to our cinematic example here. Let's open up Ozone 8 again. And just for fun, what do you say we go through here? Just take a look at what, this is actually bypassed, but just take a look at what we have. And we'll run Master Assistant one last time. I'm going to start from the beginning this time. And we'll just see what we get this time, all right? Turn gain match off there. I'm actually going to, again, take a look at what we have there just real quick. And I'll just clear everything out here. All right, just so we can really hear those changes taking effect. Last time we're going to do this here, we'll go ahead and close down. Accept there. Now you can see this is completely different here because, again, we didn't really analyze the most dramatic part of the loudest part of our track. So it is somewhat different here. And I'm almost thinking it may not sound very good once we get down to that more intense part. It's not bad, but I'm really losing some of that low end in the drums there. So that's why it's very important that we actually have the loudest, most sort of dynamic part, you know, of our track there. And that's why they suggest that. So we'll do this one more time here. And let me just, that should be long enough, I think. Or close enough anyway. Actually, I'll go back. Just one more time. Master Assistant. Playback again there. There we go. All right, so what I would probably actually do is loop that really loud part to really get this perfect. But as you can see, this is, you know, completely different here again. As you can see, but we can always go in here and tweak things around however we want. And this sounds much better than what we did just a minute ago, because as you remember, we didn't sample that loud part. We only listened to this more mellow intro part, and I was really losing some of the drums. So now let's just see. Yeah, already much better. That's much better. So just make sure you really, whenever you do your Master Assistant, that you listen to the loudest part of your track. And if it's not going to be 30 seconds long, go ahead and make a loop of that so it loops around. Okay, so that was our semi-quick look at Master Assistant, the all-new feature here in Izotope Ozone 8. And I would highly suggest that you go out there and check out the Izotope Music Production Suite. Used to be called the Music Production Bundle. Then we had Music Production Bundle 2. Well, now it's the Music Production Suite. It includes all kinds of things, not only Ozone Advanced, but of course, you get Neutron 2, you get Nectar 2, you get Trash 2, you get Vocal Synth, you get a bunch of stuff. You even get RX, the standard version, which is insane that all of that's included in this one pack. It's definitely one of the best mixing and mastering packs that you can get out there, that it really has everything you need. I mean, combine this with, say, something like Complete 11, you really have all the tools you need to make pretty much any kind of music that you want. But that is Master Assistant here in Izotope Ozone 8.